Hi everyone, Vanman here. In the previous challenge run, I tested how fast I could beat Pokémon Red and Blue with just a Drowsy, which was an interesting one to say the least. Drowsy's advantageous typing and move pool, coupled with its frail stature, ultimately placed it in the B tier of Pokémon solo challenges for Gen 1. One of my favorite battles from the Pokémon anime was in the Kanto Pokémon League when Ash faced against Jeanette and her Bellsprout. In the battle, Ash and his fans all underestimate the sentient plant with a weird head and skinny legs, after which Bellsprout absolutely demolishes Ash's Bulbasaur and Pikachu, and then is ultimately felled by Muck. For me as a kid watching that battle for the first time, it was just so awesome to see a Pokémon and its trainer overcome their supposed weakness, and go on to be a genuinely formidable opponent through sheer skill and determination. So, as an homage to one of my favorite scenes from the anime, today we're going to test how fast we can beat the game with just a Bellsprout. Before we dive into the run, if you like what I do and want to help me continue to provide you with quality Pokémon content, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell so you're always up to date on the newest videos. As much as I love Bellsprout in the anime, as far as real-world game mechanics are concerned, Bellsprout's stat total of only 270 leaves much to be desired. Its best stat, form of its 75 attack, isn't even that useful because Bellsprout is more of a special attacker. Its 70 special isn't horrible for a first stage Pokémon, but with that abysmal speed, HP, and defense, Bellsprout is going to have a rough time defending itself in the case of an onslaught. Bellsprout's move pool isn't incredibly diverse, but for reasons I'll explain later, I actually think Bellsprout's moveset is going to be just good enough to get the job done in the long run. The purpose of this challenge is meant to serve as a first attempt speedrun with the following restrictions. I can only use Bellsprout in battle, I can't use any items in battle, I can't use any glitches except the badge boost glitch, I must save before boss battles and then reset if I lose, and finally, I can't use double team, store-bought vitamins, or manipulation of wild encounters. I'll be playing the game at 3 times speed, and for the sake of keeping track of time, I will consider both in-game time and real time as measures of success for this run. Therefore, the final score will be calculated by averaging the 2 times together. Also, the real-time clock will begin after I select the starter from Oak's lab, because for the sake of fairness when comparing Pokémon from one video to the next, I modify the Pokémon to have perfect DVs after I obtain it. As a challenge for the viewer, pause the video and tell me your prediction for Bellsprout's final score. So, with all the rules established, let's get started. I begin by altering the game to replace Charmander with Bellsprout, which causes the rival to choose Squirtle. Upon acquiring Bellsprout, I named it Bell since, well, Bell is already a name, so I thought it would be a good fit. If you have a suggestion for what I should name my next starter, let me know and I'll use the suggestion with the most likes in a future video. After taking down the rival Squirtle with a couple Vine Whips, we make our way across Route 1 to fetch Oak's parcel in Viridian City, and after delivering the parcel and acquiring the Pokédex, we make our way across Route 2 in Viridian Forest. However, Viridian Forest actually presents us with our first big time waster, which will actually continue to be a problem for a good while, which is that Bellsprout has so few power points in its attacking moveset, in this case Vine Whip having only 10, that we often have to backtrack to heal at a Pokémon Center over and over again, even if our HP is doing just fine. For example, against a mandatory bug catcher with only a single Weedle, we had fought just enough wild encounters as well as a single other trainer up to that point that we only had 2 Vine Whips left against an enemy Pokémon that double resists it. I thought we still might be able to take it down by setting up 6 Gross to boost our special and make Vine Whip a 2-shot, but 2 Vine Whips still aren't enough and we have our first reset of the run before even the first gym. After trekking all the way back to Viridian City and then back again to Viridian Forest, we're able to get past the bug catcher and make our way to the Pewter City Gym, where we make quick work of the junior trainer for extra experience and then challenge Brock. As you likely anticipated, the 2 Pokémon with poor special and 4 times weakness to grass were not an issue for Bellsprout, who one-shot them both, winning us the Boulder Badge, and also bringing Bell to level 13, at which point it learns Wrap. Because Vine Whip is resisted by so many of the bug and/or poison-type Pokémon on Route 3 in Mount Moon, and because Vine Whip has so few power points, we waste a lot of time taking down each opponent using multiple turns of Wrap. And even then, Wrap itself has so few power points that we had to finish off this last Metapod using Poison Powder. Fortunately, that Metapod is the last mandatory battle before the Pokémon Center outside of Mount Moon, so we don't have to backtrack to the one in Pewter City this time. While trekking through Mount Moon, we fight a few extra trainers to level up a bit, but still, we again need to expend our power points very judiciously so we can make it all the way through without needing to heal. Fortunately, we have just enough power points to finish off the Super Nerd just before the exit of the cave without backtracking. But I actually want to pause for a moment and talk about this battle in more detail, because it's the first instance that we use a particular strategy that will serve as a running theme in this playthrough. You see, at level 18, Bellsprout learns Sleep Powder, and since Growth is one of the best stat-boosting moves in the game, buffing the user both offensively and defensively, putting the first team member in the opponent's lineup to sleep and then setting up a bunch of growths as a means of sweeping through the rest of the team is a great way to finish otherwise painstaking battles with a fair amount of consistency. Employing the strategy with the Super Nerd, we set up 6 growths against the Grimer and then take it down with Wrap, and then one-shot the Voltorb and Coughing with Vine Whip. Then, making our way to Cerulean City, between the next 2 boss battles, form of Rival 2 and Misty, most Pokemon would prefer to face the rival and traverse Nugget Bridge and Route 24 to level up in preparation for Misty. But Bellsprout's type advantage means that we can go straight into the Cerulean Gym where we defeat the 2 gym trainers for quick experience and face Misty at level 21. As with Brock, the strategy is just to spam Vine Whip, which takes Staryu down in one hit due to a critical hit, and against Starmie, it can only ever use Tackle since the AI deprioritizes not very effective moves, and in this fight, Starmie actually brings us to red health with a few tackles, and would have knocked us out if it weren't for Misty using X Defend. But Starmie nevertheless goes down in 4 hits, winning us the Cascade Badge. And now that Misty has brought Bell to level 22, we heal up and face the rival, where we really get to put our Sleep Powder and Growth strategy to the test. Considering Pidgeotto's speed and type advantage against Bellsprout, it's the biggest threat on the rival's team. So in the battle, we use Sleep Powder and set up 6 growths, with Pidgeotto getting off a Sand attack, which fortunately misses, and a Quick attack after waking up once. Once our special is maxed out, Pidgeotto goes down in 2 hits, and then the rest of the team is one-shot. After the rival, the trainers on Nugget Bridge and Route 24 leading to Bill's house are not necessarily challenging, but they still take forever to defeat, again because of Vine Whip's low power points and us having to resort to Wrap, and the fact that we yet again have to backtrack to heal. But regardless, now that we've made it to Bill's house, we can grab the SS ticket and board the SS End, where we face a couple extra trainers to pick up a rare candy, and the TM for rest just in case we need it later. We then face rival number 3, who is pretty much a deja vu of the previous rival battle, using Sleep Powder and Growth to plow through the entire team, after which we grab the HM for Cut, which grants us access to the Vermilion Gym. And now, this battle against Lieutenant Surge really showcases how well Grass-type Pokemon fare in the early game boss battles, being super effective against the first 2 gyms and resisting the third. Against Surge, we set up Growth against Voltorb, and even though I accidentally use one too many, we still take down Voltorb and Pikachu in one hit with Vine Whip, and then Raichu gets off a very weak Thunder Shock and then survives on a sliver from Vine Whip. Then Raichu takes us to just over half with a critical Thunderbolt, and then goes down to his second Vine Whip, winning us the Thunder Badge. And now for Route 3 and Mount Moon Part 2, we make our way across Route 9 and Rock Tunnel, again facing a handful of extra trainers for experience, and again wasting a lot of time by using Wrap, and again being extremely careful to manage our power points so we don't run out. Fortunately, during the trek, Bell reached level 33, at which point it learned Razor Leaf, allowing us to finish the trek without backtracking. Then, after making it to Celadon City, completing the shopping errands, and acquiring the HM for Fly, we again face another critical decision point about who to fight next, Erica or Rival 4. And in the case of Bellsprout, the correct decision is Erica, who is literally a free win. Allow me to explain why. In Generation 1, trainers with good II, Erica included, will always use moves that are super effective against their opponent. But there are 2 problems with that. The first problem is that the super effective not very effective messaging system is glitched, such that if a Pokemon is dual-typed, the messaging system only considers one of the 2 types, making Erica's AI think that Poison is super effective against Bellsprout when it's actually neutrally effective. The second problem is that the AI that prioritizes super effective moves doesn't care whether the move is an attacking move or a status move. So, the combination of these 2 facts means that Erica's Victreebel and her Vileplume will just spam Poison Powder against Bellsprout. But since Bellsprout is a poison type itself, Bellsprout can't actually be poisoned, meaning that 2 of Erica's most formidable Pokemon are just sitting ducks, leaving us with just Tangela, whose only moves are Constrict and Bind. Granted, the battle takes forever because all of her Pokemon resist Razor Leaf, and Wrap does very little, and Erica uses a Super Potion a few times, and Tangela traps us in Bind a few times, but still, a win's a win. And now, to fly back to Lavender Town and face rival number 4, the strategy is the same as it was both the other times, using Sleep Powder to set up a bunch of growths, but here we actually discover a bit of an issue with that strategy. You see, Razor Leaf has an increased critical hit ratio, and even with Bellsprout's horrible base speed, that still leaves Razor Leaf landing a critical hit approximately 2/3 of the time. And since critical hits in Gen 1 bypass stat modifications, a critical hit Razor Leaf will completely ignore all of the previous growths. In this particular fight, we're so overleveled that it doesn't really matter, and we're able to sweep through and finish the battle in the green no problem, but at this point in the playthrough, I do definitely put it on the back of my mind that this could be a problem later. Next, we complete the Vitamin Raid portion of the game, stripping Silphco and Safari Zone for their precious stat-boosting supplements, and then once that mission is completed, we head down to Fuchsia City to face Koga. And I'm not sure how easy he will be to defeat because Bellsprout can't actually be poisoned from Koga's Pokémon, but there's just no way we're going to survive a self-destruct from Weezing, even with 6 badge boosts from growth. So my prediction is that we win if we can avoid self-destruct and lose if we can't. So with that said, let's see which of those 2 fates is ours. To start, we put the first Koffing to sleep and set up 6 growths to boost our special and also badge boost our attack and defense. Then we outspeed Muck and trap it in Wrap, during which time Koga uses not 1 but 2 X attacks. While wrapping, one of the wraps misses and allows Muck to get off a devastating sludge attack. Then Wrap continues to land until Muck goes down, and the second Koffing takes several wraps as well, hitting us with a weak Smog before going down. Then, by some miracle, we outspeed the Weezing, despite not yet having the badge that boosts our speed, and Weezing falls asleep and stays asleep for the rest of the battle, winning us the Soul Badge. I have to say, I did not anticipate Koga being this easy. For a slow and frail Pokemon such as Bellsprout, Weezing can be especially tedious to get past, but not today. And now, since the rest of the game is inaccessible until defeating Rival 5, we have no choice but to face him next. And with the entire team being over 10 levels higher than in the previous rival battle, this one can be substantially more challenging. But I'm actually not too incredibly worried, because our go-to strategy has proven effective against the rival's team 3 times already. In fact, not to give too much of a spoiler, but you've probably already anticipated that we actually use the Sleep Powder growth strategy at the beginning of every boss battle for the remainder of the playthrough. So from now on, I'll just skip that part of the commentary. Regardless, let's see how we fare in the battle. While we initiate the setup, Pidgeot outspeeds the first time and Sleep Powder misses the second time, allowing Pidgeot to get off 2 devastating wing attacks. Then, once the setup is complete, we now outspeed the Pidgeot and take it down with 3 Razor Leafs. Then, Growlithe and Execute go down in a couple hits without attacking, then we outspeed the Alakazam and put it to sleep. A critical hit Razor Leaf then brings it to just over half, after which it wakes up. I didn't think another Razor Leaf would be enough to finish the job, so we instead go for Sleep Powder, which misses, allowing Alakazam to knock us out with Psybeam. Then for the next attempt, I decided to go for a strategy that I knew we would use at some point, but I just didn't know when. Back when we fought Erica, she awarded us with the TM for Mega Drain, and up until now, we haven't needed it. But what makes Mega Drain so great, in addition to the obvious fact that it restores HP, is that it doesn't critical hit nearly as often as Razor Leaf, which at first glance might sound like a drawback until you realize that critical hits are anti-synergistic with growth, meaning that a souped-up Mega Drain is far more potent than a non-souped-up critical hit Razor Leaf. The problem, however, is that when teaching Mega Drain to Bell, I actually don't know if it's correct to get rid of Razor Leaf or Wrap, because it's entirely possible that we'll need Wrap to prevent a future Pokemon from attacking if we want to have a chance at getting past it, such as Lorelei's Lapras for example. After some deliberation, I decide to replace Wrap with Mega Drain, and in future battles, use Mega Drain when we need to heal and Razor Leaf when we don't. In the second attempt at the rival, Pidgeot again outspeeds and hits us with Wing Attack prior to the setup, after which we restore back up to full health with 2 Mega Drains. Razor Leaf then makes quick work of Growlithe and Execute, after which we put Alakazam to sleep and one-shot it as well. That causes Bell to level up, which takes away our badge boost and means we no longer outspeed the Blastoise, but all it does is get off a weak bite before fainting to a single Razor Leaf as well. Well, it looks like in this particular fight we didn't actually need Mega Drain, but it'll still be great to have in the future. Next, on our way down Route 21 to the 6th gym on Cinnabar Island, we take a little pit stop, during which we make use of our type advantage to level up against the water-type trainers on the route in preparation for Blaine. After that, we enter the Pokemon Mansion where we strip it of its vitamins and complete the puzzle to access the secret key and challenge Blaine. Now, I'm not hopeful for this fight, since the AI will prioritize fire moves against us, but it's either Blaine or Sabrina, and we all know Sabrina would be worse, so let's see how this one goes. First, we set up against Growlithe and take it out with a couple Razor Leafs, with Growlithe hitting us with an intermittent critical hit Ember, thus bypassing our growths. Then, our badge boosted speed allows us to outspeed the Ponyta and recover back up to full health with a Sleep Powder and 2 Mega Drains. Then the same happens against Rapidash, except we use Razor Leaf, and against Arcanine, we again outspeed, put it to sleep, and take it down in several hits without Arcanine attacking a single time, winning us the Volcano Badge. You know, I have to say, it was at this point in the run that I realized I had underestimated Bellsprout. Yes, its stats are horrible, but its moveset is proving to be very effective at dealing with even the toughest opponents. And now against Sabrina, I initially thought she would be really tough given her type advantage, but as well as Blaine went just now, I'm feeling much more confident. In the battle, Kadabra outspeeds prior to our setup and almost knocks us out with Psybeam. Then we use Mega Drain to heal back up to orange and again up to green against Mr. Mime. In the battle against Venomoth, it confuses us and saps our health with Leech Life, which is annoying, but we still take it out with a few Mega Drains and restore back up to green yet again. And finally, Alakazam is swiftly taken care of with a single Razor Leaf, winning us the Marsh Badge. Great job, Bell. You're reminding me more and more of the Bellsprout in the anime with every battle. And finally, to round out all 8 gyms in the league, we use our type advantage to level up against all the gym trainers, then spam Razor Leaf for the entire battle against Giovanni, winning us the Earth Badge. And now, to kick off the final 6 battles of the run, we have rival number 6. So, none of the other rival battles have proven to be too threatening against Bell. Will this one be any different? Let's see. To start, Pidgeot lands a wing attack during the setup, dealing about a third, then we heal back up to full with 3 Mega Drains. Razor Leaf then takes care of Rhyhorn, Growlithe, and Execute without us taking any damage, and now I want you to observe just how powerful Growth can be. Take a look at how little damage a super effective Psychic from a level 50 Alakazam is doing. After that, we put it to sleep and take it down with a couple Razor Leafs, and then a couple more Razor Leafs is enough to take care of the Blastoise as well. So now, we can make our way across Victory Road to the Elite Four, but at this point, the only thing on my mind is all the ways this portion of the game could go horribly wrong. For example, Lorelei has super effective Ice-type attacks, and Agatha's moveset is even more trolly than ours, meaning she will likely disrupt our setup unless we get extremely lucky. While defeating the other trainers will likely be a simple matter, Lorelei and Agatha could potentially be responsible for more lost time than any other trainer in the entire run. And something else I have to mention too, is that we've used functionally the exact same strategy for every major fight since Mount Moon. First, Sleep Powder, then 6 Growths, then Mega Drain to restore the health that was lost during the setup, then Mega Drain or Razor Leaf the rest of the way. That's it. That's been our game plan the entire time. But what if that doesn't work anymore? What if we get stonewalled and have to replace one of Bell's moves with Mimic, or Rest, or Reflect? We have access to all of those TMs, but if we get stuck and have to resort to one of them, we've disrupted our game plan for all future battles. Needless to say, I'm hoping it doesn't come to that, but there's no use talking about it any further. Let's face Lorelei and test just how powerful Bellsprout really is. Against Dugong, it wakes up during the setup and attacks with Aurora Beam, dealing about a fifth. And because our special is so buffed at this point, we just continue with Growth and don't bother with Sleep Powder again, during which Dugong spams Rest. Then we use Cloyster to restore to full health with a one-shot Mega Drain. Then Slowbro goes down in 2 hits, Jinx is put to sleep and goes down in 2 hits, and we go into Lapras with full health. Then, in flawless victory fashion, we put it to sleep and take it out with 2 more hits as well. Wow, all that worrying about Lorelei for nothing. But we still have 4 more to go. Let's move on to Bruno. Now, in this battle, I am a little embarrassed to admit that I didn't set up and just spammed Razor Leaf under the assumption that Bruno would be trivial as he always is. But in doing so, Hitmonlee actually knocks us out with a critical hit Mega Kick. And then in the next attempt, I apparently didn't learn from my mistake and just spam Razor Leaf again, meaning we get taken down to orange health. On the second Tonix, I finally come to my senses and set up, then finish the battle with a few more Mega Drains. Now on to Agatha. Here we go. Our strategy is the same as always, but our victory will just depend on if our Pokemon cooperate. The first Gengar obviously outspeeds, and then confuses us and puts us to sleep, after which a couple Dream Eaters are more than enough to knock us out. Honestly, with no growths, I'm surprised one Dream Eater wasn't enough. In the next attempt, Agatha switches into Golbat after Nightshade from Gengar, and now we're able to set up. However, a couple instances of hitting ourselves in confusion, followed by a wing attack, is more than enough to finish us off. Then, in the next battle, we see yet another reason why Agatha is so challenging in this matchup, which is that Golbat can use Haze to completely negate our entire growth setup. And after a long stream of us trying to whittle it down, Golbat still manages to chip away just enough that the next Haunter knocks us out. Then, after a couple more attempts, we finally get a run in which Golbat stays asleep for long enough for us to avoid Haze, allowing us to fight through even a paralysis from the Arbok and slowly but surely chip away at the remainder of her team with Sleep Powder and Mega Drain. So now that total grind fest is over, I'm very confident about the remainder of the run. For starters, the champion battle very closely resembles the previous 2 rivals, who were not an issue. And Lance has 3 Pokemon on his team that literally can't attack. That's right, any Poison-type Pokemon in a Gen 1 solo run will defeat the 2 Dragonairs and the Dragonite pretty much for free, because they each know Psychic-type status moves that the good AI will just spam until they lose. In the battle, we set up against Gyarados without a hitch and take it out with 2 Mega Drains. Then, we spam Razor Leaf against both Dragonairs while they spam Agility. Next, we put Aerodactyl to sleep, and as if to demonstrate why you don't want critical hits, the first Mega Drain crits and does about a third, then the next Mega Drain doesn't crit and finishes it off. And now, again, since Dragonite can't attack, all we have to do is press A on Razor Leaf as many times as we need to make our way to the champion. And folks, get this, I haven't even fed any rare candies to Belle yet. I haven't needed to. Sure, Agatha was wildly inconsistent, but the extra levels wouldn't have helped with that, because being underleveled isn't what makes that particular fight challenging. So now, we get to save all that extra experience for the very end, and we bring Belle all the way up to level 67. And at this point, I'm more confident going into the final battle than in any other playthrough to date, because we have a consistent strategy that is demonstrably effective against this team in particular. So, let's see if we can pull it off. During the setup against Pidgeot, it does about a third with Wing Attack, after which we restore back up to full health with Mega Drain, followed by a Razor Leaf to finish it off. Against Alakazam, we don't even bother with Sleep Powder anymore, and Mega Drain takes it out in 2 hits, with Psychic dealing us about a quarter. Next, we one-shot Rhydon with Mega Drain to restore back up to full health. Against Arcanine and Exeggutor, we put them to sleep and then take them down in a few hits, meaning we face Blastoise at full health. And I think you know where this is going. Blastoise manages a Blizzard that does almost nothing, but it still stands no chance against our souped-up special, and a couple more Razor Leafs is enough to knock it out and make us champion of the Pokemon League. Results. Bellsprout finished the game in 5 hours and 59 minutes game time, 1 hour, 40 minutes, and 33 seconds real time, for a final score of 3 hours and 50 minutes. Conclusion. Bellsprout had one plan and stuck to it. With the exception of Agatha, every fight was extremely consistent, and there were even a handful of battles that required 2 attempts for no other reason than that I misplayed the first one. However, unfortunately for Bellsprout, this challenge is a first attempt speed run, not a first attempt consistency run. The simple fact of the matter is that, while almost every fight was won decisively, the nature of our strategy was such that Bellsprout lost more and more time implementing that strategy with each and every battle, and there were many instances where we fought extra trainers along the way for experience. Not to mention, in the early game, we had to continue to use the Pokemon Center to heal our power points, in addition to relying on a multi-turn move in the form of Wrap to progress. Therefore, although Bellsprout never lost a huge chunk of time in one fell swoop, it did unfortunately bleed just a few extra seconds over and over again throughout the entire duration of the playthrough. Given Bellsprout's absurdly high consistency, despite the time that it lost to achieve that consistency, and given its final score of just under 4 hours, Bellsprout has earned its place in the C tier of Pokemon Solo Challenges for Gen 1, just under Ponyta. Thank you all so much for adventuring with me to beat the game with just a Bellsprout, and allowing me to relive one of my favorite Pokemon memories from my childhood. I can't begin to express just how much I love continuing to improve my skill as a content creator and continuing to provide entertainment to all my fellow Pokemon fans out there. If you want to support this channel or the Pokemon community at large, the best way to do that is to comment down below which Pokemon you'd like to see me run in the future, and also like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We're currently on the road to our first 1,000 subscribers, and if you become one of those 1,000, you too can help us become part of that growing legacy. See you next time, everyone. Take care.